Hello, all you folks out there in YouTube land. Lord Crocus World, Terror of Flat Earthers here with yet another edition of ADHD Gamer, Meridian Squad 22. This game was a rather strange proposition for me as I usually don't go in for real-time strategy games. However, I'm a sucker for sci-fi stories and as a result got myself in way over my head. For those of you who watch the stream, you'll know what I'm talking about. So this is Meridian Squad 22. In a great many ways, it's similar to all the other games in the genre, with a very strong resemblance to the Terran campaign from the original Starcraft. Not in so much as we're trying to kick the butt off an icky, polluting menace to the universe at large or anything. On the contrary, the humans in this game are the invaders. An alien race that already lives here, and they took exception to the survey team that arrived here some years ago to see if it was suitable for some portion of the 50 billion people trying to eke out a living on Earth. Yes, that's billion with a capital B. Thus was sent Squad 22 to the planet Meridian. Once they hit Atmo, the real fun begins as the aliens decide that a first strike is a much better idea than letting Squad 22 take the initiative. The tutorial mission consists of a small map of the ship's interior, and your job is to repel the orders. Simple, yes? It's what comes after that will get you. The game continues to tutorialize and shows you the basic building and tech trees and throws you to the wolves. With limited resources, there are some things you just aren't going to be able to do quickly, starting with assembling enough forces to start a Zerg rush. From the almost cheap tutorial battle to the very first campaign mission, you get a nasty difficulty spike. Perhaps a bit too nasty without several attempts to try and complete it. I fear mission 2 will be much worse. In that regard, this is more of first impressions than a proper review for a couple of reasons. First, it's releasing not as a finished product but to early access. It's playable and it runs on my potato as long as the ambient temperature isn't too high, and I turn the graphics settings on all the way down. Second, it's probably going to take me several days of regular play to get the hang of this particular game, and as such I can't adequately judge the content based on what I've seen so far. I do have a few nice things to say, as well as some things that aren't so nice. On the upside, it's well assembled and clean. The UI is functional and unobtrusive, and the game looks gorgeous even on the lowest settings. It's bright, and both friendly and enemy units are reasonably well matched in terms of combat capability. The animation is solid, and some of the deaths are actually fun to watch. Now for the downsides. I've already complained about some of these, of course, but they bear repeating. The difficulty curve is downright ugly. It'll thrill the hardcore gamers the first few times they get their backsides mangled, but that's them. Had the curve been a bit more gradual, it would make the entire experience far better. The next bit goes along with the first. There are no stated victory conditions, which is fine. There's enough chatter to give you a strong idea of what you're up to. It's the failure states that got me. There are a few characters that aren't disposable, and the game doesn't make clear which ones they are. If any one of them dies, you're on your way back to the start of the mission. The problem I have with this is that these heroes aren't distinguished from the rest of the units in any way, and aren't any better in combat than the rest of the units like them. So unless you take the time to separate them out and leave them to base with bodyguards, you're gonna get hammered. Next bit concerns the escape menu. It's not accessible from anywhere except the main menu or your in-mission time, and that in and of itself created issues. What you don't see going on in the background is that the game autosaves during the mission as you arrive at certain milestones. If you drop back to the main menu after being defeated, you can load up the last checkpoint and try the bit that got you killed again. If you don't, you wind up doing it all again. Were available while people were talking or in the mission fail screen, I might be a little bit more favorably disposed. I'm going to give this a bare recommend as it is rather competent, but it is prone to the same sorts of issues that similar games have had in the past. Mouse moves is intended to select units, swinging you to the other side of the map, or same if a unit's too close to the edge of the screen, you're trying to get them to build something, and so forth. To the developers, I would suggest at least making the failure states clear from the outset and marking at-risk units out in some way so that we're not putting them in harm's way unnecessarily. You're off to a good start, but you've got some ground to cover in the quest to make games fun again.